Morning, Lucy.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good. How are you doing?
Doing all right.
So this meeting invite went to everybody who had signed up for the SIG, right?
Yeah, and it's also publicly available on the SIG mailing list.
Right. Yeah, I see some people joining, so let's give it a few more minutes. I guess.
Sure.
Thank you. So while people are joining, Lucy, I just wanted to understand, like, you have been part of other SIG meetings, right? I mean, do we need to send a reminder or anything like, before the meetings, or how does it work? Or just like one time?
Yeah,
That,
and let me just check here. It should automatically email.
I don't
Yeah, I
think
did
I
get
got.
I did get a mail. I did get
You
a
get-
mail. Yeah,
When
Yeah.
was that?
13 minutes back, like 10 minutes
Oh,
before.
you did. Okay.
Uh,
Okay. I haven't checked my mail in the last hour. So.
Maybe it makes sense to also drop it into Slack as well. Just saying that the
Correct.
meeting.
Yeah. Because we want more participation, obviously, going forward. No.
I guess we are already 6:30.
Lucy, I think we should just get started.
Sure. I put together a couple of slides, given that this was the first meeting. And just
So I think Rahul and all have seen it also.
Yeah.
So basically, we have maybe he can introduce himself, Yong Woo-jun, or we can just make a round of introductions because we're only few people. We cannot be doing this. Most of the others, other than Byung, are from Equinox. I mean, all of others, from what I see in the link here, unless somebody is joining in a different format. Byung, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm from Ericsson. I'm an architecture chair of ONEP currently, and I designed the ONEP security architecture, new one. So we ONEP team completed security new architecture using service mesh, ingress, and Istio, that. So, and also IDAM-based authentication authorization. I'm one of the core member who designed the security architecture. That's why I'm very interested in this SIG architecture. And also I'm working on working with the SECOM. I think Rahul already know about SECOM. He presented the Cube Armor to SECOM. So I'm willing to collaborate with the nephew and ONEP from security perspective. Thank you.
And fantastic, Byung. Welcome to the Security SIG for nephew. I'm Raj. I'm part of Equinox. We proposed Security SIG, and glad that you could join, because we definitely need cross-pollination from different projects and other things, and understand what you guys are doing, and also collaborate in a way that it can be much more beneficial on the for different deployments. Right? So it's very important. Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Okay,
So I'll let Lucy take it from here. Just talk about the general philosophy and what the plans are for the security SIG, and then we can talk about some of the plans, nomination. Rahul can probably talk about some of the agenda items, like as to what he thinks, the mission, vision, and the plan for security SIG is. So over to you, Lucy, and then to Rahul.
Yeah, so this is the general philosophy that was pulled from the presentation to the TSC slides, just highlighting different areas of security principles as they're applied to Nepio. I will say, like, personally, I think Nepio is in an interesting position because it is Kubernetes based. So there are, I think, broader CNCF security, best practices and that type of thing. But there's also, I know LFN also puts out security best practices too. So I think there will be a lot of cross collaboration there. When I talked about Nepio to LFN, this was probably like a month or two ago, probably about 2 months ago now. They were interested in having Nepio adopt some different, particularly secure coding practices and other areas within CI/CD. So hopefully aiming to get that, that relationship brokered here in a little bit. Then the only other thing that I wanted to highlight is that Kenny posted this. I think it came out actually on Sunday, but that the nomination for all of the SIG elections is running, from the 16th to the 27th, and then the election period will be the 30th of October to the 4th of November, or 3rd of November, excuse me. And then the link is in there to self-nominate or to nominate someone else.
Sure, thanks.
And then I can hand this over to whomever, Raj. These were just what I grabbed from the slides, and what I can do here actually is just I'll get out of screen share mode, and then I can edit them at will to kind of prioritize them if that works.
So Rahul is the one which we are planning to nominate for the this thing for leading this effort. So maybe he can talk about it. He's the one who put together this. When we presented to the TSC, also he was the brain behind this whole thing. So I'll let Rahul talk about this.
No, so the intention is same, right? Whatever we presented to TSC. I think our primary priority to begin with and let's see if we can get it handled as part of R2. I know the timeline is very short, but at least fulfill the goals that LFN has asked us to fulfill. So that should be priority number one for priority 0 for us. The other places, like some of the other things, OpenSSF scorecard, improving the OpenSSF scorecard is going to remain the priority, and we need to check whether we can fulfill some of those things by the end of with R2 itself. The primary challenge that I feel there might be there is that this would require some changes into the multiple repositories. Those will be, there will be some challenges there to actually merge the pull requests and things like that. So we need to at least have a time window of 2 weeks for merging this pull request, right? So that's going to be a challenge. But apart from that, everything will then fall into subsequent releases. Like as when we presented it to TSC, again, TSC was in sync with about making sure that the dev and release related practices are taken care of first, and then parallelly we can start forming subgroups to conceptualize, ideate on some of the big ticket items that we might want to push through this SIG. So that's basically the gist of what the current what the action items were discussed as part of the last TSC meeting.
Awesome. And I just wanted, this is the current scorecard now that
Yeah.
I'm able to edit. I'm not sure. Hopefully, I'm hoping this link actually.
Yeah, it will open up, yeah, for everyone. Yes.
And I'll drop it in the chat really quick, wherever my chat window just went.
Reaching to 50 to 60% will be very easy. Beyond that is kind of tough, usually, is what I've seen. I've done this for we've done this for another project before.
Yep. It's more, I think the biggest around here, making sure I didn't fill this, and this, let me preface, this was filled out probably, I think I started this in June, maybe July. So like we obviously like having a primary developer who knows how to design secure software, like that type of thing that I didn't fill out. I didn't want to fill out until we had something like this stood up. So I think, perhaps we could, in anybody's, precious free time, if they wanted to look through some of these to see if we actually do meet these qualifications. I think there's quite a few in here that we can actually, select as met.
Yeah. So Lucy, there are two things, right? One is this badge, the other is the actual scorecard, right? And these are two different things, right? Like, so
yes. Security. Let me show you the other. So there's security.lfx.org. Throw that in the chat as well that folks can check out. I'm hoping everything migrated.
Yeah, security scorecards. Yeah, this is where it should be. Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a bunch in here that folks can also go through and can look.
Yes. Yeah.
And the scorecard is what you had talked about, Rahul, right? Before that, we need to reach a certain score.
No, both of this. The badge is badges as well. But for badges, right? Badge, what we primarily need to do is answer the questions, and it's mostly documentation. But with scorecard, right, you'll have to make changes into the README. You'll have to make changes. You'll have to contribution guidelines explicitly specified and things like that, right? Like you'll have to make pull requests to these individual repos, and this is across all the repos within that organization. So it's it might be some work before the score improves.
Okay.
Lucy, how do we get right access? So for the badges part, right? Like only you will have the right access is what my understanding is.
Let me, let's see if I edit it. So I think this just edits the actual thing. I'm not sure about show all details. That's unhelpful. And I think I was actually, is it in my profile? No, I think I was actually just assigned like assigned as an owner.
I
Uh,
see.
I can ask I think I'm on the OpenSSF Slack. I can ask them if we can
Okay.
have multiple owners assigned.
Right.
Yeah, that will be good to know. We can take care of that.
Yes. Wait, did anybody receive a comprehensive list yet from LFN regarding all of the goals that they wanted us to achieve?
No, not that I know of.
Hit up Kenny.
There was some mention about it in Arpit's talk, but I don't think there was anything elaborate talked about or sent to us, any of us. Rahul or anybody else, do you have any received anything? This
Nope. I remember during Arpit's presentation, there was a slide which talked about
correct?
a
Yeah.
few, there were some bulleted points there, but I don't
Correct.
remember.
Okay, so that's that, and then the OpenSSF scorecard, and then there was the other one also, right? We need to probably add that also as a badging. The scorecard, correct?
Yeah, and once that application is complete for the badging, it'll go through and process.
Okay, so you will take care of that application process.
Yeah, I
Lucy?
can take care of submitting it. I'll check with some OpenSSF folks to see if we're able to have, I actually might just ask the PMs if we're able to have multiple owners per application, because that would make life a lot easier. And if not, I can just put the edits in. I might see if I can export this in some way so that we can just, and then it can be shared around so that, everybody can touch it. I'm not sure.
Lucy, anyone can see this details.
Good.
The
Oh,
editing part is, yeah. So
Editing
I
part
can,
is the one.
yeah,
Yeah.
editing is not.
The questions can be seen by everyone,
Okay, perfect.
but probably Rahul is the one who needs to have the access to see if it is met or unmet or whatever, so he can edit accordingly.
Yep, I will check with OpenSSF and see what we can do there.
Okay.
Is there any desire for me to reach out and see if we can set up a joint meeting with LFN's security group? I think they have a security SIG as well.
I think that'll be helpful.
Very good.
Yeah, that'll be very good.
And I'm participating in this meeting from ONEP security subcommittee too anyway, so.
Oh, okay, great.
But I like to hear the LFN level security joint group. Yeah.
Sure.
And then for some of these other things, I was wondering if maybe you put together like a roadmap for some of these other, features or aspects to include over the next, I don't know, 6 months or so, 6 to 12 months. Maybe that makes sense.
I have one question. Talking about OpenSSL. I think the ones Raul who presented about secure software supply chain, are you using any kind of a framework? For example, OpenSSF reference implementation like Fresca. I'm not sure we are talking about this at all. Secure software supply chain for Nephew.
No. So OpenSSF is so for secure software supply chain. There's another framework, right, called SALSA.
Okay.
But OpenSSF is primarily about recommendations. So
I understand.
yeah, so it's not going to impose any specific provenance requirement or anything such as like that. It's going to say that you need to have certain practices in place, and the OpenSSF badge will see you simply tick mark those practices and say that you fulfill it, and the badge score will improve. Of course, you have to fill in properly, but the OpenSSF scorecard would actually go through the Git repos of all the repos within your organization and check whether certain files are present, certain badges are present, certain markdowns. It expects certain things to be in certain format before it can improve the score. But it has got nothing to do with supply chain. It has some recommendations, but nothing mandating there.
Understand not mandating, it's just recommended. I just worry about we are considering applying some of the framework, like Fresca is one of the recommended one, but not mandate. But any other many tools to make sure the software supply chain is secure. For example, injection and then auditing and those things. Anyway, just curious about this is part of the scope or not.
No, the way I see it, there will be different subgroups, right, within the SIG, and supply chain, depending upon the level of interest and all those things. If we have a clear owner for that particular task, we should certainly pick it up. I know two other folks who have talked about that in the same, with the same level of zeal, that we should be starting thinking about supply chain security early in the phases, rather than later.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Lucy, one of the things also I just checked on the LF networking website. Nephew is still not listed as a project. That's something you might want to take it up with them.
Yeah. I will reach out.
Okay. And then I think Rahul and Byung already mentioned about the subgroups, so probably that's also another item like you want to mention here, that forming the subgroups, or
I think that should happen after the
elections and all. Okay, fine. Anything else to be added to this list here, immediate, while we are going through the election process? Any other thoughts, ideas from others in the call?
A little bit slightly different topic, but since Rahul mentioned about the QWAM, so this is our position to push QWAM for Nephew. What's the story for this? Anyway, this is not for our group level, for our
yeah. So the way I see it, if you find the right use cases and the team agrees upon the right use cases, security use cases, then absolutely, QWAM anyways is the CNCF project, right? It's completely open source, so we'd love to see more adoption towards that aspect. But again, the use cases and the clear integration points have to be rightfully identified, and it requires it's like any runtime security solution, right? It requires you to make some changes into the actual deployment models and things like that. So that there has to be appropriate level of interest to actually do that integration. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
This may be a question that can be answered after the elections. Wondering about the overall scope, and so there's a lot of stuff on here about tools and other projects that we can use to measure the security of Nephew itself. But I wonder whether this SIG has a role to play with regards to security-related requirements that other SIGs may put on the project. Like, I don't know, network architecture might have requirements around some security features need to be implemented as a feature. Is it expected that that representatives from this SIG would kind of align with, participate in that SIG? Or, it's a bit of a deep question, in its first meeting. Just a thought, really.
Personally, I think it's a good point. But Tom, which company you coming from?
Sorry, Vodafone. I should have introduced myself.
Which one? I'm sorry.
Vodafone.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
No worries.
But yeah, Tom. So I think this meeting with Elephant Security SIG is something that should definitely help us to understand what are all the different things. For CNCF, I've been part of CNCF meetings, such meetings, and there were certain requirements that were put in place for certain security sensitive projects. I'm assuming that Elephant would have something similar and more rigorous, in my opinion. But I'm yet to check out that. So that would be the best team to actually discuss this with. But on the scoring part, the point that you mentioned about scoring, so OpenSSF scoring is one, but there are a bunch of other toolings that can be integrated. In fact, if there are anything specific that please, I think that is something that we can talk about more and more details on the Slack and other avenues.
Yes, I think the Elephant Security joint meeting is important. Wow, right? We get the yeah.
And then hopefully all of you are part of the Slack, the security Slack, and the groups joined. So Tom, the good question. Please do provide your thoughts and ideas where possible, and then we'll definitely be iterating on those in the next coming up calls, meetings.
Sure. Okay.
Right. Great. Anything else, Lucy, you want to specifically talk about?
That's it for me. If anybody needs any assistance in, with any of the LFN stuff or working with Kenny, please feel free to reach out. As you can see by my inbox, I currently have 618 unread emails. Slack is most certainly the better way to get a hold of me right now. And my phone number is also listed in there. If you don't hear from me, please do not hesitate to reach out and text me. There's just a lot of moving parts right now. So the priority right now is it goes text messages, then Slack messages, and then email. So by all means, feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you.
One basic question, Lucy, before we close. When it comes to CNCF, they provide licensed access to certain tools, and I've mentioned your FOSSA and SNCC. But I don't know whether there is any web page or anything from LFN which says that these are the tools that you can get licensed access as, because you're part of LFN community, right? So that process again takes some time. Like it may take a week or more to get that kind of access.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Thank you.
Great point. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So I guess the next step is basically to just get the SIG chair and co-chair elected, and then the next meeting is already scheduled, right? 2 weeks from now, or
I think we have it on a weekly basis right now.
on a weekly basis right now. Okay.
So
But we're probably next week, we'll, depending on when we have the LFN security SIG join the meeting, maybe we can do that in this call, have them join the meeting if possible. That way we can utilize the time better.
Yep, absolutely. You can send them the invite, and Lou gets supposed to join.
Cool.
Okay.
Nice.
If there is no other specific questions or concerns or any kind of thoughts, ideas, we can probably call it a meeting. I don't know. Anything else, Rahul, or anybody else?
Sounds good. We can meet next week. Thank you, Razi.
Yeah, nothing from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Lucy too. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.